Mike Rounds is a familiar name to many people in the Midwest. Some people, even in Washington, D.C., are pretty familiar with it. My friend, Senator Bill Napoli, has some, well, should we say hands-on experience with former Governor Mike Rounds?
Well, of course. Yes, I served with him for over 10 years. I know him very, very well.
Well, I understand there was a letter came out just the other day from his campaign headquarters saying, if you'll send me to Washington, D.C., to the United States Senate, I will do for America exactly what I've done for South Dakota. I'll lower taxes, I'll reform government, I'll streamline everything. Did you get the letter?
I got the letter.
Okay.
And I was so impressed, I'm thinking about endorsing Mike Rounds. He's got to be the finest conservative in the state of South Dakota.
Well, that's what our friend Nancy Pelosi thinks, too.
Well, I'm sure that, yeah, that particular side. But I was talking to a Democrat friend of mine the other day, and I said, how come you guys aren't really pushing your Democrat candidate? It's almost as if you don't have a candidate. And the guy said, well, we do. We have Mike Rounds. Seriously, we like Mike, and he's in tune with us, and he's in sync with us, and he's got our issues. So Mike is the Democrat candidate.
Well, you don't sound like you're very excited about him. Was it you that said something like he's all heart and a mile wide? Wait, no, it was he's like a mud puddle.
I believe my comment was
this deep.
He's just like a big mud puddle. He's half a block long and about an inch deep. And I don't think that could be a truer fact, because depending on the issue, depending on the time, depending on the day, he's able to change just about any aspect of what he's saying to you.
Okay. Bill, you worked in the legislature with Mike Rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that you think he really isn't a genuine conservative? I mean, what evidence can you give our viewers?
Well, Mike has never been a conservative, and frankly, I don't think we need to go around labeling people every time we turn around, but you have to have an ideology of some kind, and Mike doesn't have one. Mike goes with whatever's sitting in front of him at that particular time, and he's never come down on the side of less government, less taxes, get out of our lives, the growth of government. I don't think he's ever even agreed that government is growing at alarming bounds. I don't think he's ever agreed with anything any conservative said in the last 20 years.
Well, during his term as governor, if you were rating him on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being a great conservative and 1 being a very, very poor conservative, how would you rate his?
Well, he's not even in the ballpark.
He's not on the chart.
He's not on the chart at all.
Why do you say that?
Let's just talk a minute about the deficit,
okay,
which is the single biggest sticking point I have with Mike Rounds. In South Dakota, we have what we call a structural deficit. Every governor lists it. The reason we have a structural deficit is because we're spending money we don't have yet. We're spending next year's money. We appropriate that money. We think we're going to get it. That's called a structural deficit. And that's fine. Everybody lives with that. That's what we do.
And then we catch up the next
year, yes. Mike gave us a $125 million real deficit over his 8 years as governor.
And that's not a structural deficit.
No, that was a real deficit that we owed, that we did not have the money to pay. And then he just walked out the door, handed it to Dugard, and said, here, take care of this. Does that sound familiar?
I vaguely remember that.
Okay.
So what you're saying is that in his last year as governor, Mike Rounds signed a check for $128 million that wasn't good.
Yeah, you could say that. I don't think, not only wasn't good, I can't believe he had guts enough to do it, and then turn around and send out a fundraising letter asking me to send him money because he's going to go to Washington and solve the debt crisis. What?
Yeah, I think that could be a real wake-up call. You know, we'll talk some more about some of the conservative issues, or the important issues to South Dakota, when we come back with Senator Napoli, because we're not going to let him go away just yet.